Hello, my name is Ilona and this video is going to be more of a personal video. I want to talk about my own experience with shadow work and where I'm at right now, what I'm dealing with. I'm hoping that could help other people. So I'll leave it up to you if you want to watch this video or not. And what I've been noticing lately, that I just want to be left alone, so to speak. I just want to be in my own bubble. I just want to connect with myself. Obviously, I'm still doing my consultations, my readings. If you're interested, you can watch information on www.warekracht. So it's warekracht.nl. Or you can send me an email, warekracht@protonmail.com. And that's warekracht is warekracht. And you can find it in the description box as well in the video attached to this video. So I'm still doing the readings. I'm still, of course, doing my videos. And I do keep up with the news, but less than I did before. I've noticed that a lot of things are just, not that interesting to me anymore. So I just choose things that are interesting to me for me to do videos about. And of course, I'm doing videos about shadow work as well. I think that is the most important thing to work on right now. So I'm really focused on connecting with myself. And it's very strange to me. In a way, it's almost feeling a little bit like selfish, but that's not really the feeling. It's almost like I just need to really connect with what do I feel, what's coming up inside of myself. I really truly want to connect, because when I connect to myself, I'm connecting to source, I'm connecting to God, I'm connecting to my intuition. And it's so important, because that's what you're doing actually with shadow work. With shadow work, you are taking away that shadow that you have in front of truly connecting with God, with yourself, with intuition. You're taking that away. So the energy that was used for that shadow, you're now healing and using for yourself. And of course, this is a process, like I've mentioned before. So I've been noticing that I kind of just want to be by myself. It's almost like very important to me. I'm kind of disconnecting from things happening outside of myself, of truly connecting with people, friends, family, outside of myself. I'm just focused on myself right now. And I'm working through a lot of fear. I've mentioned before that I've grown up very unsafe. And also with food, I have, of course, I've already mentioned before in other videos that one of my issues is food, in a way, addiction, or I just binge. It hasn't been going as worse as it was before. I've already worked through a lot of things. So it's actually, I'm in a pretty good place concerning that. But still, I've noticed that when I do have I've noticed just immediately when I start eating more or start craving certain sugary foods, that actually right now it's basically because there's something fearful coming up, or I am afraid that I'm making the wrong decision. So this fear that I'm feeling is a very deep, basic fear that even at night, I've already had a couple of nights that I would wake up in panic, that I thought I was going to be killed or something going to happen. And I was just in a sort of panic going on, waking up. And then, of course, I would, ground myself again and go back to sleep. But it's very interesting. These are very deep fears. And it's obviously not just in this lifetime, usually from past lifetimes as well, or future, because ultimately there is no time. So I think this had to do with lifetimes that things happened, and these things have never been taken care of, so to speak. I've never really healed all those fears and feelings of unsafety, uncertainty, because when you're unsafe, it's very difficult to be secure in yourself and really trust your own judgment. Because when you're fearful, you're like looking around you because you need safety, and apparently it's not inside yourself. So it's very difficult to make good decisions when you're fearful. That's why they say that fear is a very bad giver of advice, giver, so to speak. We have that in, not sure if I'm translating that in the right way, but we have a saying in the Netherlands, and I think it's really worldwide as saying that fear is not a very good, it's not something you should follow. It's not some good advice. Fear can be putting you in a certain position, and because you're fearful, you cannot make the right decisions because you're not seeing clearly. Fear kind of just confuses you. So I'm dealing with a lot of fear. I've dealt with these things before, but I'm noticing it's a deeper level. Every time something returns to me and pops up again, I noticed it's a deeper level. So this really feels like life and death, and this is very intense feeling of fear. So it takes some time before I'll be able to heal that, and I'm working through that, but I've noticed that I really want to connect with that now. It's very important for me to deal with that, and because really, when we deal with these things inside of ourselves, when we do the shadow work, that really is the most important work to me, because that will help you really become one again. I've actually done a card reading. I did this one in my Dutch video, so I shuffled the cards in the Dutch video. And I just wanted to, maybe more people have this feeling that they just want to be left alone. They really want to connect with themselves. Things in the outside world don't seem to affect you anymore. It's almost like you're turning inwards. And I think that's very important because that's how you can heal. And I do believe it's very important that we feel through things. That's at least... see, of course, if it resonates with you, but especially for me, I've never dealt with emotions or feelings when I was growing up. My parents didn't know how to deal with that either. My family just had no idea, and we were very practical, which isn't a good thing, you know, especially when something arises, there's a problem. I can become very practical. That's how I was raised, and there's nothing wrong with that. But especially with feelings and emotions, it's so important to deal with that at that level and not from a rational level. So for me to escape, I would eat and I would analyze. So I'm a person that kind of just lives in her head or lived in my head for a very long time. And I still have that tendency. So something happens, the first thing I do is start analyzing it. And that can help in certain matters, but when it's concerning feelings and emotions, that's not really going to help you really to heal. It's good to know where things come from and how it, you know, how to say that, how it happened, so where this fear comes from. I know where this fear for me now that's coming up, I know where it's coming from. I know past lifetimes, I can sometimes see glimpses of that. So I do know what happened. But it hasn't healed yet because I haven't felt through it yet. I haven't healed the part of the feelings and the emotions. So I actually got some cards, maybe to help other people as well. Some insight, maybe more people are turning inward. So the first card I got was the King of Swords. The second card, it is the same spread I usually use, but I'll use it in a different way. So this is kind of the central card, but I will look at it more as an all advice card, so to speak. But this is the Seven of Wands. We have the Seven of Swords. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. We have the Tower card, the Ace of Cups, and I noticed the back of the deck. And that was the Ace of Pentacles. And that's very suitable. So the first thing I see is when you start working through these things, when you are truly connecting with yourself, because that's what the Ace of Cups is. It's connecting with your emotions, your feelings. You will be able to make a completely new beginning. And this is in a very practical way. Because if you change your energy, if you truly connect with who you are, you will start manifesting who you truly are, and you'll see it in the world around you. But this is, to begin with, very interesting. The King of Swords, this is what I'm talking about. Not everyone will analyze, but especially talking about myself, and I've noticed a lot of people as well, to deal with emotions, feelings, they'll start analyzing things. And this can help to figure out where it's coming from, but this is not going to solve the feeling or the emotion itself, because that's a different level. That's not at a rational level. I've been told, and I've seen it in our society as well, you need to get a grip on your emotions. You need to make plans, goals. So if you have this feeling, you have to do this, this, and this. And it's a very rational way of dealing with your feelings, dealing with your emotions. And well, if I just speak for myself, that hasn't really worked out very well, I have to say, because it's a way of pushing things away. It's very suitable. This card really represents me, especially when I was younger, and these were my feelings and my emotions. I was like, yeah, I don't want to deal with you. I'll fight you. And in a way, it's kind of, because this usually is the card that I am in a better position. But ultimately, these are my own feelings and emotions. So I am fighting myself. And that's what's happening with people that really are fighting their own emotions and try to contain this control by thinking everything through and just being very rational. I've done it myself. It never really worked out because I'm very sensitive and I just didn't know how to deal with it. And then, of course, my food would come in to suppress the rest. But my first reaction would be to try to analyze, try to get rid of this emotion, trying to fight essentially with myself, because that's what you're doing. So, and in a way, if you're not dealing with anything, you're kind of just trying to get away from things you cannot really get away from, because it is yourself ultimately. These feelings and emotions that come up have something to tell you. They are there to heal so you can learn more about yourself, and you are capable of healing it. But if you walk away from it, if you try to suppress it, or not look at it, or really just focus on your rational mind, you are ultimately going to lose the connection with yourself. And I do believe that that is what happened with us as humanity. Most of us have lost the connection with ourselves. That's why we think that we are all separate beings when we're not. We are all connected. But this feeling of isolation, of course, the dark energies used it to isolate us, to keep fearful, to keep us in this certain box so they could manipulate us. That's what they used. So if you look around us, everything is like, yeah, don't connect with yourself. You need help. Oh, you can do this, you can buy that, you can get a pill, you can do all kinds of things, but you won't have to deal with it inside of yourself. And that's very important, because the Tower tells us that we need to really connect with that shadow side. It's almost like that shadow is in front of ourselves, has moved in front of us, really truly connecting with ourselves. And it is tough. It's not going to be easy to feel through that, especially when you want to control, especially when you're like me. You have this A to B, linear process, and you just want to get to B. With emotions, you need to surrender. And well, let's just say two things I'm very bad at is having patience and surrender, especially to my own emotions and feelings. But really, if you look at it, this person is just throwing themselves backwards, like surrendering themselves. And I think that's the best way to deal with emotions and feelings. And take your time to feel through it. That's what I consider shadow work. Obviously, when you're doing shadow work, it's important to take time apart, to take time to be with yourself. That's what I'm feeling as well lately, that I just want to take time to feel through this. I do have to advise, if you're starting with this, I've noticed it myself, that in the beginning it's not easy to feel, because your body is used to saying, no, we don't want to do this. This is not a good idea. So in my case, I would start analyzing. So instead of feeling this feeling or emotion that will come up or being triggered, I would be above that. So I still wouldn't truly feel it. So I wouldn't really resolve it either, because it has to do with surrendering yourself. And so I advise, if you want to start with that, just take maybe first 5 minutes. And if you notice you start analyzing again, to just breathe again. Usually I would lay down before I go to sleep and just feel in my body if there's something, some how do you say this, tension, things like that. Maybe something happened that day that triggered me. Of course, now with these fears, I'm really, you know, opening myself up to feel that. I usually feel it around my solar plexus. Maybe you feel it somewhere else. Use that to breathe through that and just feel it. And when things happening in your life, you can use that to really connect with yourself. So if you're triggered by something, just, you know, take some time off if it's possible, maybe later on in the day or the day after that, and just feel in your body where you felt that, what's happening. Usually your body will react. Well, that's your entrance to connecting with yourself. You can just breathe through it, surrender, and not analyze it, but just feel it. Very important, at least to me. Of course, see what resonates with you. And especially in the beginning, just take your time, just do it maybe 5 minutes and do something after that to ground yourself. Very important, especially when you're living in your head or when you're working with emotion and feelings, to ground yourself. Just in general, it is important to ground ourselves, because otherwise we won't be able to truly manifest if we are not present in our body. So this is really about dealing with these shadows, with these pains, feelings, fears, and just surrender to it and connect with it. When you're connecting with it, you will connect with yourself. You will connect with God. You will connect with Source. And then you will be able to start manifesting what you truly want. Because if you change, your energy will change. You will see it around you. You will become this independent person enjoying their lives. And then you can connect with other people as well, because you're connected with yourself. And ultimately, you can only truly connect with other people when you are truly connected with yourself. But then so much can open up and we can really step into our power. Connection with your emotions and feelings are so important, so we can start manifesting. I'd like to leave it at this and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.